Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we take these confusing corporate reports and turn them into something you can actually understand. Today we're diving into Karooooo's latest annual filing, and let me tell you, it's got a few twists. I mean, you'd think a company focused on vehicle tracking would know where all its money is going, but, well, let's just see. Karooooo is a company that specializes in connecting businesses to their vehicles and other assets so they can follow, manage, and understand what's happening on the ground. Think of it as a central nervous system for cars, trucks, and even construction equipment. We're going to zoom in on what happened in their most recent financial year, ending in February 2025. What are the key numbers? What are the potential risks? And how do they see the future? And of course, I'll give you my brutally honest opinion about all of it as usual, but if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed and join our Discord community. The link is in the description below. First things first, this is an annual report, which is like a yearly checkup for the company. This particular report is called a 20F, which is what foreign companies use to report to the US Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC. This bit of text is just the legal way of saying that it is indeed what it is, an annual report. Scroll for the financial year ended February 28, 2025 scroll. That means we're looking at their performance from March of 2024 through February of 2025. As of February 28, 2025, Karooooo had about 30.9 million shares of common stock out there. This number is useful if you want to compute things like earnings per share and market cap. Alright, let's dive into the part that actually matters, the risks. One of the biggest risks they mention is whether they can keep bringing in new customers and keeping the ones they already have. They're in the software as a service or SaaS business, which means people subscribe to use their software. And if they can't get enough subscribers, or if people cancel their subscriptions, that's going to cause problems. Karooooo is worried about global events messing with their business. And for good reason. They are not just talking about pandemics like COVID, but the Russia-Ukraine conflict and conflicts in the Middle East. These things create global economic chaos, messing with supply chains, causing currency fluctuations, and pushing up inflation and interest rates. They also point out that geopolitical tensions involving China are a concern. They also worry about keeping up with technology and being unable to adapt to rapid technological change in the car industry or other related areas, and that could leave them in the dust, unable to compete. The company also relies on specific suppliers, telemetry, and video hardware vendors. If anything happens to those suppliers, like interruptions in the supply chain, it would really hurt their customer acquisition process. They also point to cybersecurity as a big risk. If someone manages to hack their platform or computer systems, it could really damage their reputation and cause them to lose customers. They talk about how the development and maintenance of systems to increase cyber resilience is costly and requires ongoing monitoring and updating to address increasing sophistication of cyber attacks. Another major risk is that they do a lot of business in other countries, which means they're exposed to currency exchange rate fluctuations, and those can really mess with their reported revenue. Scroll. Item 5. Spending and financial review and prospect scroll aid. Okay, time to jump into the financials. Remember, all these numbers are in South African Rand, so you're going to have to do some mental math if you're used to US dollars. First, good news, their subscription revenue went up from about 3.5 billion Rand to about 4.1 billion, a 15% jump. That's solid growth, and it's the key number to watch since it's where they make most of their money. This increase follows the increase in subscribers to their platform. They had almost 2 million users to about 2.3 million in the recent year. The takeaway is that they are continuing to grow nicely. But the question is, can they maintain that? Now, the real test. Net profit was roughly 937 million Rand, a 24% increase. That's a really good sign of a company being sustainable and continuing to have good numbers. One measure that they highlight is adjusted EBITDA, or earnings before interest, taxes, and other things. This number also increased 17%, so the company is in line making more money and the business is becoming more efficient. For Karooooo, it's mostly the Cartrack unit driving revenue. Karooooo Logistics unit is responsible for 420,000 and has the most increase. This table is here to show how these numbers were derived. If you have to spend too much time with something like this, it's likely not that important. They also noted that fluctuation in exchange rates, depreciation of local currencies, changes in monetary and/or fiscal policy all could have a material adverse effect on our business financial condition, results of operations and prospects. Isaias Callisto, the founder, is still at the top as CEO. It's good that the founder is still here after all these years with so much domain experience. Harushin Goy is the CFO, a registered chartered accountant. On the board, Siakun Lim acts as the lead independent director and comes with almost 40 years of audit and financial experience. Andrew Leong has been a member of the board since 2021 and co-founded a cybersecurity company. That's an important thing for a public company. You want them to have in place all sorts of ethical and governance procedures. Let's talk about internal controls. What's that, you ask? It's basically how the company makes sure the numbers are accurate and reliable. The management admits that there were weaknesses around privileged user access, change management controls, and journal processing in one of its subsidiaries, but the report states those are being remediated. The company had a change in auditors going from Ernst & Young to Deloitte Teachers. The audit fees were 15,568 rands. One thing that jumped out at me is that the company goes into detail about their cybersecurity plans. They also state that, as at the date of the report, cybersecurity threats have not materially affected their business, results of operations, or financial conditions. Now, let's zoom out and look at this company as a whole. It's got a lot of potential, it's steadily growing subscribers, and they're profitable. The recent report showed a few cracks though, namely around internal controls. Can they fix these issues and keep growing? And while things are looking good, they have to keep a close eye on the global economy, cybersecurity, and changes in the market. All of these things may have an impact on their results and financial situation. Alright, that's our breakdown of Karooooo's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.